So I'm pretty sure a lot of people are probably in this little weird limbo situation where new phones are kind of getting cheaper in the new market, not necessarily meaning like the Galaxy S20s and the iPhone 12 Pros and all those ones, because honestly those are getting more and more expensive, but it just seems like Apple specifically, and I'll focus on iPhones here and I'll make a separate video for Androids. It just kind of seems like Apple is giving us more options to buy iPhones at a cheaper price tag just in general. When you look at devices like the iPhone SE2, the iPhone XR, and iPhone 11, Apple is still selling these devices, which I think are really impressive phones, and I think they have a lot of value, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, for $399, it's the best iPhone you can buy for that price tag. And I would definitely tell you, if you're comfortable, if you're not comfortable, don't do it. But if you're comfortable with even kind of looking into used devices, even in this day and age, it's still a super viable option of getting the most bang for your buck. Now that's kind of what I always have lived by. Even before I started YouTube, I would always buy a used phone. That was something that I just always preferred. It was just cheaper. You can get more bang for your buck, and it just made way more sense to me. And when you look at the brand new offerings, such as the iPhone SE2 from Apple, for $399, over $400 with tax and everything, I don't know, that doesn't necessarily seem like it's a great value per dollar. I think it's a good value for a brand new phone. But even that device, that's a $250 phone max in my opinion. When you look at the used market though, for $399, you can easily pick up a base iPhone XS, and especially an iPhone XR in the used market for $399. Apple's selling it for $499 brand new, and I would rather have an iPhone XR than an iPhone SE2 in my opinion. And when you kind of look at it like that, you tend to see this phone actually costs this much in the used market, and I'd rather have that phone than this phone. And because of, the amount of people who don't necessarily feel comfortable about buying a used phone and all that stuff, you can kind of get a better deal. There seems to be less competition nowadays. Before, I'll be honest, before COVID and everything, there were used phones being sold like crazy, but now people don't really feel comfortable buying used phones, in my opinion, mostly because, of the bacteria on a device that can be transferred over. It's true stuff, and I actually do believe in it 100%. But for the average person, I think a lot of people could actually get a really good deal on specific devices like this, which is super, super impressive. And I'll give you an example. Like I said before, with the iPhone SE2, $399, you can easily get an iPhone XR for that, for in the used market. I've seen a lot of these go for less than $350 in a lot of places too. But on top of that, an iPhone 11, brand new, $599, that's actually a really good price for a brand new device. But when you look at the used market, I've seen a lot of these things go for less than $500 easily, and less than $500 for a phone that was just a brand new phone last year is a super compelling offer, especially when you look at the difference between an iPhone 11 and an iPhone 12 Pro. Even an iPhone 11 and the iPhone 12 Pro Max, there's not that many crazy differences. There's definitely, differences for sure. The iPhone 12 Pro Max is the better phone in almost every single category, but price per value, you're probably getting a better value per dollar from the iPhone 11, especially from a used iPhone 11, than a brand new 12 Pro Max. So typically how I would go and buy a used iPhone is pretty much, eBay, sometimes Amazon. I do go certified refurbished from them most of the time. It just seems so much better. I don't have to haggle, and that's typically where I get my devices, honestly, if I'm being honest. And I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description where it's just a search for iPhones, and you guys can go ahead and look through there for the certified refurbished ones. If you do get an iPhone from there, you can actually help support the channel at the same time, which that'll mean so much. Now, those are the main reasons why I would typically almost always recommend somebody buying a used iPhone over a new one. It really just comes down to the price tag. However, there are some caveats to it. It doesn't necessarily mean you're always getting a perfect iPhone. I've been burnt so many times from eBay, from every website possible, Amazon. Actually, Amazon's pretty few and far between, but Craigslist, all these places that you could typically buy a used phone from, every single area I've pretty much been burnt by. And burnt as in meaning I bought a phone and it may have not had everything it said it had, or it may have, a problem and they didn't tell me about it. And in those cases, every single time I've ever had an issue, the manufacturer or eBay or whatever would always allow me to return those devices and get a refund almost every single time. I think there was one time where I was beyond that 30-day time limit because I got a phone, I didn't even unpackage it until 2 months later. It had an issue and I wasn't able to return it. So that person actually ended up getting lucky in my opinion. But most of the time, if you go open your device, you check it out thoroughly, you should be able to go ahead and, like I said, almost every single time it says that one time, you should be able to go ahead and actually return that device. And that in and of itself, it's pretty much standard throughout the board. So if you're afraid that you're going to get, a faulty phone or a fake phone or a broken phone, you do have at least 30 days, at least 7 days to thoroughly test that phone, make sure everything's good. And if there is a problem with it, you should be able to go ahead and return it. Unless you're buying it from some random website that nobody's ever heard of, then I don't know what their return policy is. But places like Amazon, eBay, all these places for the most part will allow you to actually return those devices. So that's another huge aspect and a huge reason to pick up the iPhone in the used market. There's not really that much to lose besides a little bit of time of packaging it up and returning it. So those are just a couple of reasons as to why I think you should still buy a used iPhone. Again, it's not the end all be all, it's not perfect, but they still have a lot of capability, and you can always do more in the used market than you can in the brand new market. You can save yourself so much money, but you can also get a better phone for a cheaper value than less of a phone in the brand new market for a more expensive value. So that's definitely how I would put it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that means so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.